Welcome to episode 72 of Squib Kick Radio. I am your host, as always, Elias Powell, and I am joined here by both Harry Burton and Riley Pollock this week. How are we doing today, boys?
I'm doing pretty good. I just produced an entire 6.5 hour NHL Day 2 draft show for the radio station today. It was a grind. We thought it was going to be done at 3 and it didn't end until about 5:15. So a lot of hockey talk today. Now happy to be talking some football.
I'm proud of you, Rawls.
Thanks.
It's good work, Rawls. I'm just happy to be back. Last week,
Yeah.
We're happy to have you back, Harry. Glad you don't have business stuff to do.
Didn't feel like a full week without coming on the podcast, so it's good to be back, boys.
Awesome. Well, we've got a ton of stuff, as always, to go through, and a bit of a special episode today, as we have an exclusive interview. We alluded to it, I guess I should say, a couple weeks ago, but our very own Riley had an interview with Emmarae Dale, who is the newest member of the CJFL Saskatoon Hilltops, and actually the first female player to sign with a CJFL team. So really, really exciting interview. Of course, we do have all of our standard news to get to, also a Week 4 recap, and then launching into what to expect from Week 5, and of course, our picks. But we're going to start things off with the interview itself. So without any further ado, we'll let Riley take this one away.
All right, I'm here with Emmarae Dale, new member of the Saskatoon Hilltops, and the first female to play on a Canadian Junior Football League team. Emma, I'm sure it's been a pretty crazy few weeks since you joined the team. What's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been quite the roller coaster the last few weeks, but yeah, it's been a challenge playing with the guys, but it's been a great learning experience too, and yeah, just getting better as a football player has been a blast.
Have you been doing on-field activities with the Hilltops since you signed with them?
Yes, yeah, we've been practicing for the last 3-4 weeks now, and yeah, it's just been like non-contact practices so far, and yeah, that's pretty much been it. Nice.
Are you sticking at the linebacker position as you make the move?
Yes, still as a linebacker.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You had a very successful career with the Saskatoon Valkyries. What made you want to make the jump to the CJFL?
Well, I honestly didn't even know I wanted to make the jump. I was actually approached by Jeff Yowzy, who was my coach on Valkyries for a couple of years, and yeah, we kind of just bumped into each other, and he said, "Hey, what do you think about playing with us?" And I didn't even realize it was in my realm of possibilities, but just kind of figured, this could be my one crack at at the next level of football. So just kind of felt like just taking my next chance, and yeah, here we are.
Well, and it's not a bad team to join either. I mean, what have they won? Six national championships in a row or something like that? So
yeah.
It's a pretty nice step to move to such a great team.
Yeah, absolutely.
How many years do you have with the Hilltops here? How many?
Just one, I believe.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into tackle football in the first place? When did you start that?
It would have been actually right after I graduated high school. I mean, I played flag in grade 10, grade 11, and some of my coaches were affiliated with Valks. One was a GM, and the other one was a treasurer. And they both hey, yeah, you should definitely come out to Valks fall camp. And I think I went to a couple fall camps when I was in high school, and that was sort of where I kind of dipped my toe in the water of tackle, and then and then it was my first year of university when I actually was eligible to play, and yeah, that was when I started tackle.
Awesome. It's a late start to make the CJFL. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Are you a fan of watching the game, CFL, NFL? Do you have any players that you look up to from either league or anything like that?
I'm slowly getting more and more into watching it. None really that's that, that I can think of, like, right now. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess Ray Lewis, I know, like, he's just
That's a
obviously
good one.
an insane baller. But, yeah, just people like him.
Yeah, that's not a bad guy to look up to, especially at the linebacker position.
Yeah.
Have you done the Rider Game experience? Have you been to any of those?
Yeah, I've been to a couple. I went to one last year, but yeah, I haven't been able to get down to Regina a ton for games in the last few years. But yeah, they're always a really fun time.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I try to make it to at least a Labor Day game, even though I'm living in Calgary. That's a pretty good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a message maybe for any other women or girls who might want to get into tackle but are kind of scared to take that step?
Definitely would tell them to not be afraid, because it's a blast, and coaches are never going to put you in a position that would make you unsafe, and there's such a focus on safe tackling and safe contact now that there's really nothing to be worried about. You don't have to, there's a position for any size of person, and that just to definitely give it a shot, because it could change your life.
Yeah, for sure. Do you wish that you could have started maybe a little bit earlier? Like, do you have any regrets about waiting until after high school, or do you think it was kind of the right route?
Yeah, I mean, I was always, like, pretty heavily involved with sports growing up. Like, soccer was actually my primary sport, like, pretty much all throughout elementary and high school, and so that was kind of, like, my time was dedicated there. But, yeah, there's definitely a little bit of regret that I wish I, like, maybe would have even started in high school, like, because all my brothers played football and stuff like that, and there would even be times where people would be like, why don't you play football? I'd be like, well, I want to, but I just literally didn't have the time to, because I was already doing, like, 4 other sports. So there's definitely, I wish I could have gotten a little bit earlier of a start, but I think I was sort of set up for success by being a multi-sport athlete, that I was sort of able to easily make that transition into football.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done some coaching after high school ball, and we would just try and steal all the basketball kids to play receiver for us that had never played football before, and they ended up being some of our best players. So, yeah, the multi-sport athlete thing, I'm a huge proponent of. I agree with you 100% that it's easier to take that step in football if you've played something else throughout your youth. So, I agree 100%. All right, let's stray away from the football questions here a bit. I think we've got to know you a little bit. What else does Emmarae do for fun besides football?
Oh man, well, I am just working right now, and for fun, I guess, I just like to hang out with my family and my friends. I have a pretty big fam, and I actually am, like, pretty into the music world. I play piano and sing too and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know, just kind of your typical gal that just likes to have fun.
Talented across many different platforms.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I have one more for you here, and it's the biggest deal on our podcast that we have. Are you an extra pulp, a little bit of pulp, or no pulp kind of person if you're drinking orange juice?
A little bit of pulp.
Okay, good, because I think that if we've had this debate, if you get the orange juice with extra pulp, I think you're a psychopath. So I'm glad that was your answer.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, well, that's basically all I have for you today. Do you have anything else you want to share before we hop off here?
No, just thanks so much for having me and for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today, and I really hope that you have a great season whenever the season happens, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks so much. That was Emmarae Dale from the Saskatoon Hilltops with us on Squib Kick Radio. Eli?
Well, Riley, that was awesome. That was a fantastic interview. Really, really interesting. And of course, being the first female player being brought into this CJFL, that's just, would it be groundbreaking, revolutionary? It's just awesome to see, and of course, an incredible athlete in Emmarae Dale. How was the interview, Riley?
It was really good. She was very well spoken, and yeah, it's cool that she gets to go to a team like the Hilltops. I mean, that is the best junior football team in Canada, bar none. They've won the last 6 national championships, and I believe 9 out of the last 10 in total. So it's not like she's going to some winless team looking for help. She is joining the best football team in all of Canada, and I think she's going to help out with that team. She has played in the women's league in Saskatchewan with the Saskatoon Valkyries for the last few years and was an absolute beast there, so I would expect nothing less when she joins the Hilltops this season, or I guess probably next season, because I doubt that anything's going to happen with the football season until next year.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just awesome to see. And I mean, you can't be joining a better team than the Hilltops. I mean, being from Saskatchewan, we're no strangers to them. They're really the elite, the cream of the crop, as you said, Riley. But just also well done. Great interview. Let's talk some NFL now. We've got ton of stuff going on. I mean, COVID's running rampant in the NFL right now, which has got fantasy owners all over the world very concerned. And of course, we do have some injury reports and our first coach firing. But before we do that, let's just chat a little bit about week 4. Dallas, they can't get stops to save their life.
Yeah, they looked so bad on defense. Cleveland scored 49 points on them, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the most points that they've given up since their inception, like their first year, I believe. I can't remember the exact stat, but they did something very poor on defense that hasn't happened since their first year in the league. So that's a tough look for them. And, I mean, I don't love Dallas, so I'm okay with it. And I've kind of got a soft spot for Cleveland because they've been so brutal. So, love to see it on the Cleveland Browns side.
Totally agree. And I would say the most underrated win of this whole situation with Dallas and Cleveland is all the Jason Garrett memes popping up. Has anyone seen those? It's just like the laughing face, and then Mike McCarthy's sad face, and the internet is undefeated.
Yeah, Dallas almost pulled off another Falcons game-like comeback as well, but then Odell Beckham Jr. just busts off a disgusting run to seal it.
Yeah, it takes a jet sweep, like reverse all the way, like I don't know, it was like 30-some yards to the house, which was nice to see OBJ getting back to his normal form. Now, Harry, you talked a lot about these guys a bit in the preseason, but Arizona and Kyler Murray, what do you think's going on there?
To be fair, new coach, newer quarterback, they got to figure it out. There's going to be some hiccups along the road, but I think they're going to be fine. Also, Kyler's still getting those fantasy points, doing what he needs to do, so nothing needs to change in my mind. Fantasy-wise with Arizona, they're going to figure it out. They got Hopkins and Fitzgerald.
They need to get their run game more established, in my opinion. I mean, Drake had 13 rushes for 35 yards. Kyler Murray can't be the only running back on that team. And Edmonds is good, but he's more of a pass-catching running back. They need to figure out something on the ground to make that offense more balanced.
Yeah, I agree. And especially late in the game, you need to be tiring out defenses so then you can continue putting together those longer drives. So Arizona needs to do some soul-searching after taking 2 straight back-to-back losses.
And to not great teams. I mean, they lost to Detroit and Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah, the Carolina one was that you can't let that happen. They're supposed to be one of the worst teams in the NFL, period.
Yeah.
But hopefully they figure it out.
I like watching the Cards offense. They're fun to watch.
I have Drake in one of my other leagues too, so I really wouldn't mind them figuring out their run game because he's been a bust so far.
Big Dick Nick looked pretty average for Chicago against Indy. They lose 19-11. Maybe he's just one of those guys that needs to come out of the bullpen. You start Trubisky, wait for him to suck, and then let Big Dick Nick come in and lead a comeback.
I don't know. I think he just needs a couple more weeks. Like he'll probably turn the corner this week and then continue to improve. I mean, pretty much since camp ended, he wasn't getting the first team reps. So There's even though he is a veteran quarterback, I mean, you still gotta do the reps.
Yeah, true.
Completely agree with everything you just said, Eli. Those are the points I was gonna make. But he's got a Super Bowl. It's week 1, or last week was, of his season, basically. He's gonna figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. And so I would look for Nick Foles to figure it out a bit. And I mean, it's not like the Bears have a lack of talent at receiver. They've got some pretty good guys to throw the ball to. So,
and Foles and Allen Robinson, that's been looking like a real early connection, which is going to be very beneficial because Robinson needs those reps.
Yeah, I agree with you. And then the last thing I have here is Philly's first win against San Fran. I mean, Philly really needed that W. They're 1-3 now in a division that, are they tied for first with that one win? I mean, that division is terrible.
Yeah.
And San Fran is hurting. I haven't seen a team have so many starters be injured in a very, very long time. Their whole defense is decimated. They don't have their starting quarterback. They don't have one of their top running backs. The receivers are slowly making their way back. I mean, they needed that win, but it's tough to blame San Fran for losing that game.
Yeah, I mean, I personally love that it was Philly won it on a pick six to win the game. That's so awesome. I loved every second.
Yeah, from Canadian Alex Singleton, former Calgary Stampeder with the pick six.
Yeah, love to see it.
Nice.
Love to see it. And big win for Philly in an absolute dog shit division. So, I mean, that just is going to make things a bit closer. And I think we were saying that that the division with, of course, Seattle, Arizona, San Fran, they're really going to be running away with the best division in the NFL. But I think really it's a one-horse race at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams are in there too, and they've looked pretty good through the first 4 weeks. That's a hell of a football division right there. And then on the other end, the Cowboys division is easily the worst in football.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Bit of a snoozer in our doubleheader for Monday night, which actually was a bit of a treat. Kansas City Patriots game was kind of meh. I wasn't super entertained. Lots of turnovers.
New England hung around there, but it just it got blown up pretty quickly. They were in it till halfway through the third quarter or so.
Yep, for sure. And then even the Green Bay Falcons game was a bit of a snoozer as well.
Yeah, when a passing team's top two receivers can barely walk onto the field, not going to be a good time. And the defense, Aaron Rodgers could have had his eyes closed and would have thrown for 300 yards against the Falcons defense. Yep,
for sure. All right, well, let's transition into a bit of the news. We're going to start with our first coach firing. Bill O'Brien, coach of the Houston Texans. He's done.
Yep.
I didn't see him being the first to go. I knew he was going. I didn't think he'd be first, though.
Yeah.
I saw a report today that J.J. Watt got in a very loud verbal disagreement with Bill O'Brien during practice in front of the entire team. And the team almost instantly turned on Bill, and that is the main cause of his firing.
Yeah, Bill's always been a very outspoken coach. Stands up for his players, but, he says what he wants to say and says it loudly, and I think that kind of just gets a little tiresome after a few years. I believe he coached the team for 6 years. They won 4 division titles, but it's time for a new voice in there, and Romeo Crennel is going to step in and be the interim head coach. We'll see if he can kind of flip some things around there in Houston, who's 0-4.
Yeah, they definitely need to right the ship for sure.
Yeah.
Especially seeing how good Hopkins has been doing this season.
Yeah, and it's just I feel just so bad for Deshaun, who balls out but just has no help.
Yeah.
COVID
stuff. Lots of COVID
stuff. Big issues with the COVID. The Patriots, the Raiders, and the Titans all have placed players on the COVID IR list as of Wednesday. Tennessee was supposed to open their training facility again today, but then had 2 more tests. That's a tough look. It's Gilmore, I believe, as well on the Patriots that has it.
Yeah.
And there's pictures of him like right in Patrick Mahomes' face from Monday night. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. That's their top defender, and I mean, on an already decimated defense. So I don't know. We'll see if they play this week. It's not looking good. Titans are screwed. The NFL is going to come down on them pretty hard.
Yeah, and the Raiders just had Maurice Hurst on their COVID list, but the Raiders practiced despite it, so it must have been a guy that hasn't been around the team or something like that. But yeah. Hurst went on to the COVID list as of today.
Yeah, and got to keep your eye on the Chiefs as well, with how like the pictures of Gilmore just getting up in Mahomes' face. That's not good. Whether the COVID came after the game or before, you never really know. So something to definitely watch out for as well, those of you in Chiefs Nation.
Yeah, they had 0 positives as of today, but as we know with COVID, it can take up to 2 weeks before you start seeing symptoms or test positive. So even with Tennessee, it's been 10 days and they're still popping up positive tests.
Yeah.
And the Titans also apparently broke protocol last week while their facility was shut down. There's pictures of Titans players doing a workout, kind of practicing at a local high school. So if they can't play this week, in my mind, that's a forfeit.
It would have to be, and they're going to get very much fined, I think, by the NFL.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, they blatantly disregarded the COVID protocols that are in place.
I think that
would be the only punishment that makes sense. Otherwise, what's going to stop any other team from doing the exact same thing secretly?
Especially when it was already their fault that the Steelers game against them had to get moved later into the season. It was on them in the first place.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the NFL comes down really hard on them.
Yeah, I agree.
I could see them lead with draft picks, in all honesty.
Yeah,
this is something you can't let run. You can't give these millionaires, a $100,000 fine. Yeah, no, you need to take the organization's draft picks away. I mean, that's really the only thing that's going to deter these football teams from doing that.
Yeah. Throw the book at him.
At the same time, as stupid as that was of the Titans, how stupid is it of Miami to now allow an entire full fucking stadium to their games? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's
Florida's ridiculous. The Florida governor, announced that they were allowed to do that because Florida is a crazy Trump idiotic state.
65,000 people just allowed in the building. Full go ahead, give her.
Yeah. Stupid. Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be that many people there. I mean, it's the Dolphins, but
they're not selling it out anyway. But
yeah. What else we got?
The state. I just want for the record, the state is not that bad. It's just unfortunately the elected representatives do not have the best interests of the people at heart. They're more interested in money. They have corporate interest over human interest. So those are the points I was trying to make. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue against it when they're allowing 65,000 people in a stadium.
Yeah.
Flacco,
yeah.
Starting for the Jets. Sam Darnold, I believe, had a shoulder or a rib injury.
I think it's a shoulder sprain.
So Flacco's going to start for the Jets. I mean, cool. They're going to lose.
Yeah. Lev's back, though.
True. On a side note, are the Jets the new Dolphins of just general disgust with how the organization is run? On our podcast, anyway.
I think
we haven't hated on the Dolphins very much this year.
They've been pretty quiet, but also,
and they have Tua now, so you can't hate.
Yeah,
them
and
that
Fitzmagic's
much,
kind of playing pretty cool.
The Jets have always been
and Fitzmagic.
On the league of their own,
Fitzmagic is just cool.
Yeah, the Jets suck.
Yeah,
but they have as many wins as the Falcons, so
that's true. You could definitely say this.
If anything, you're just tanking. Imagine the Falcons get Trevor Lawrence next year. They just blow this entire year, Riley. Falcons, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is throwing the ball to Julio and Calvin Ridley. Like,
that'd be nice. I mean,
come on.
I'm in the pro Matt Ryan camp personally. Still, he played terrible against Green Bay.
He's no matter. I'm not saying he's bad, but he is getting old. He's in his mid-30s, I would say, without actually having a clue. But just looking,
he's definitely getting old.
I mean, I would have no issue with Trevor Lawrence sitting behind Matt Ryan for 2 years,
even a year
until his contract.
Yeah,
until his contract's up.
That's totally true. That's totally true, Eli. Like, look how good it worked for Mahomes sitting behind Alex Smith of all people. So, no, that's a great point.
I don't think the Falcons are going to tank, though.
Neither do I.
They have too many first-round draft picks on that offense.
Do they even need to tank at this point, or do they just keep doing what they're doing? Because they're not doing good.
They have to outsuck the Jets, and I just don't think they're a worse football team than the Jets.
That's a very fair assessment as well.
Nick Chubb to the IR with an MCL sprain. That's a tough one, but Kareem Hunt, owners from the start of the year, probably quite happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, you could not have a more qualified guy to pick up the rock in Nick Chubb's stead.
Yeah, agreed. Austin Eckler out 4 to 6 with a hammy injury. That's a tough one for the Chargers.
Gnarly hammy injury too.
Yeah, so it'll be Kelly, I assume, getting the majority of the carries in that backfield.
It'll probably be a committee. In all honesty, it's probably going to be pretty even.
But Kelly's looked decent in a few.
Yep. Kelly has looked good,
so we'll see. And then came down today that Chris Godwin and Shady are out for Thursday Night Football against the Bears, and Leonard Fournette is doubtful, so that's basically all Ronald Jones's backfield.
Yep. It's his to run away with for sure.
That's all I got for news.
Which is on. Yeah. I was just gonna say that's very unfortunate for Leonard Fournette owners who needed him to start this week because there's buys.
Yeah. Week 5, I mean, there's a bunch of rescheduled games, so there's super not a lot to go on.
They don't know if they're rescheduled or not. They'll do testing throughout the week, but I mean, we could have 4 games on Monday if everyone passes through on Saturday.
It'd be pretty sick. I would have no issue with that.
Yeah, we'll see, but I mean, the Raiders seem to be pretty positive that was a one-off. So that game, I'm assuming, will go ahead as planned.
Yeah, they are. The Raiders are getting in a bunch of trouble too, as well, right now, for having that fundraiser, and there was a bunch of them not wearing masks. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more positive tests coming out of Vegas, but we'll see.
But yeah, the big one for me is the Buffalo-Tennessee game is probably the one that we're watching closest. And then the Patriots and Broncos as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess the Arizona Jets game, I think that the Cards need to win big on this one. They need to crush the Jets by 2 touchdowns at least. Yeah,
they just kind of need to use this as a recalibration game almost.
Yeah.
And just feed the Jets.
Yeah, I agree.
Casey and Vegas.
They are going a storyline to watch out. They are going to MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
Which is basically kryptonite for any person that steps on a football field. Most of the injuries have come out of MetLife. The players hate playing there, so
San Fran had to play there back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
And had so many injuries.
Yep. So that's a storyline to keep an eye out for the Arizona Jets game.
Yeah.
To be fair, most of the San Fran injuries came before that 2-week stretch at MetLife.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they all started at MetLife.
Yeah, Bosa blew his knee out in MetLife.
Garoppolo. Mostert.
No, Garoppolo was the week before. I thought it was just Mostert.
Tevin Coleman was there too. There's a few guys on defense for sure. I'm pretty sure. No, Garoppolo and Mostert went out in the same week. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they did.
But anyway, yeah.
So moving on to Godwin and something.
KC and the Raiders, big divisional game. Harry, can the Raiders make it close? What do you think?
I don't think they win the game, but I think they make it close. Thanks, Ralph.
What do the Raiders have to do to make it close?
They have a high-powered offense. As long as I don't think Edwards is going to be playing, one of their good rookie receivers, but Ruggs hopefully does play. I mean, the fill-in guys have been doing good for the Raiders, but they just don't have that explosiveness that the Raiders used 2 high draft picks on this year.
Jacobs needs to eat.
He does. He does need to eat. And I think he will, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Tennessee versus Buffalo, if it goes ahead, is going to be a great football game. I mean, it should be. I mean, Tennessee's had the full week off, and they're still not allowed in their facilities, so they might have a little rust. But Tennessee's 3-0, Buffalo's 4-0. This has all the makings of a hell of a game.
Yeah, I think I like Buffalo in this one personally, but you never know. Like Tennessee, like if you like a matchup against Tennessee, they'll just run it down their throat. So I mean, if you can stop Derrick Henry, you're going to win. I mean, that's how you beat Tennessee. It's just, can you stop that guy? Because he's just a beast.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. I would still take Buffalo, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And Buffalo's defense is good, too. It's not like they have a bad defense. So they're such a well-rounded team that I'm not too
Bills
concerned.
Mafia can go wild.
I love Buffalo, man. Buffalo's like my number 2 team, I swear. They're just... It's hard to hate them because their fans are so awesome.
Yeah, Bills Mafia, shout out.
Yeah, and I love Josh Allen.
Yeah, Indy and Cleveland. I think this will be a good game, too. Sort of 2 middle-of-the-pack teams that are just probably going to get into a dogfight. I don't hate this one either.
Can you imagine Cleveland being 4-1 after this week?
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I'm not super sold on Indy. I mean, they only put up 19 against Chicago. I know Chicago's D's good, but like a few teams have put up some crooked numbers on Chicago this year. I'm not convinced that Phillip Rivers is that great.
Yeah,
personally,
I'm still not sold on Rivers.
But I mean, Indy just held Chicago to 11 points, so maybe their D is better than I'm giving it credit for. But I think Cleveland should win this game.
Yeah, I agree. And
boo, Cleveland, boo.
And then we have Dallas versus the Giants. I mean, I don't think this one's going to be close. I think Dallas is going to absolutely roast them. And then,
I mean, it shouldn't be close, but Dallas has been awful all year.
No, I don't think it'll be close.
Dallas is 1-3.
I know they should be 0-4, but your Falcons.
If it is close, I can only imagine the memes that are coming from it. So I honestly hope so.
Green Bay is playing for a share of the division lead with a win this, or not Green Bay, sorry. The Giants are playing for a share of the division lead with a win this week, boys.
Yeah.
Chargers in New Orleans, I think, could be a really good game. Like, low-key kind of good game. Herbert and the Chargers have looked pretty good this year. Herbert's been over 300 yards passing a couple times. I know Eckler's out, but I mean, Herbert's been tossing the ball a lot more than they've been running it, I feel like. So this could be a good game. And New Orleans hasn't shown me a whole lot so far this season. Michael Thomas could be back this week, which could help them out. But I think this is kind of a sneaky dark horse for a good game.
I hope so. I've been so disappointed with New Orleans this year. They're just not fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, when you average 4.2 yards per pass with one of the best quarterbacks of all time, it's just not going to be the high-octane offense that we're used to seeing from the Saints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be one-sided, but I'm playing against Mike Thomas this week, so kind of hope he doesn't play. If he does play, they're going to be way more explosive, and it's going to be a good game, but we'll see.
Yeah. Any other games that kind of pop out to you guys? I didn't really see a whole lot other than that.
Well, I'm
Joe Burrow.
Through here.
Joe
Actually,
Burrow
you know what?
versus
I think
Lamar.
I think Minnesota and Seattle could be a good game.
You think?
Historically, it's usually the game of the week.
Yeah, there's some sort of weird rivalry there for sure.
Yeah, there totally is. So I think that would be a pretty good game.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. And then Joe Burrow gets his first taste of Lamar Jackson in a divisional rivalry
Yeah, I guess
too.
we didn't talk about that in the news. Joe Burrow getting his first career
Yeah.
win. So love to see that.
Man, that kid's got all the makings of being elite. All of
Yeah.
them.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be a really good player if Cincinnati can figure it out.
Yeah.
But a taste of a little rivalry. Cincinnati, Baltimore. These teams don't really like each other.
Agreed. Yeah, that's that whole division I think is like the rowdiest when it comes to rivalries. You think of like Pittsburgh and Baltimore, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Cleveland and Baltimore. Like that division is great for rivalries.
Yeah. Yeah, they just don't like each other. So yeah, I think that there's, when you really break it down, the betting lines this week aren't great. We're going to get into that, but like the games themselves, when you really like look at them under a microscope, there's some good stories going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Gonna be some good football. Wow, I am struggling today.
Do we have a consensus? So I'm really just wondering, do we have a consensus that the Falcons-Carolina game is going to be a coach's game where what's-his-face is getting fired?
If the Falcons lose, I think Dan Quinn's
Dan
gone.
Quinn?
But I've said that for the past 3 weeks. Like, I just don't know what they're waiting for. But
Yeah,
I mean,
don't know.
You can't go 0-5 with a team like that. We have 10 first-round picks on
If
the
you
offense.
lose to Teddy... Yeah, especially with Teddy Two Gloves. If you lose to Teddy
The
Two
Falcons
Gloves,
should be able to score
with the Carolina
40 points.
without... Yeah,
So
no. They should, and they should be able to hold back that
to
Carolina
at least
offense,
39.
'cause it's not great.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, because McCaffrey's still hurt. Like, there's no way they should be doing that good.
okay. That wraps up the summary for week 5. Now let's go into some picks there, Rawls.
All right, I'll run through our week 4. Us as a collective went 8-4, our best week of the season so far. Good work, boys. Harry went 3-1 to get to 7-8-1 on the season. That a boy. His only loss was Arizona -3.5 versus Carolina. He had Cincy -3 versus Jacksonville, which won. Buffalo -3 versus the Raiders, which won. We didn't get to grill you about picking against the Raiders last week, Harry.
No, we didn't. We talked about it, but
Yeah. What's the deal?
Well, now that we're keeping a record now. You can only make homer picks when it doesn't really
Fair.
matter.
And then he
I'm going back to back here.
and then he had the
Championships.
Saints -4 versus Detroit. So yeah, 3-1 for Harry. Eli also 3-1 to move to 500 on the season, 8-8. Buffalo -3 versus the Raiders. You took that one as well. You had your Seahawks -6.5 versus Miami, which won. Dallas -5 versus Cleveland. You were not sold on this one right from the start, and it bit you in the ass.
dude, I know, man. I don't know.
Just broken. Dallas just broke
This is
you.
a tough one, man. I'm just grinding.
Yeah. Chargers +7.5 versus Tampa too. Nice pick up there. And then
nice to see going with the spread there.
yeah, just took them not to lose by 8. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What was the
So
score
we were
in that
saying
game?
we were talking about it. It's like there's some juicy numbers.
What was the score in that game? It was they lost by 7. Oh, that's a nice one, Eli. You took them 7.5.
I'm telling you, man, that 0.5, dude. I'm like, there's no way.
Yeah, that a boy. And then I went 2-2, so I'm also 8-8. Me and Eli tied for first now. Harry a half game back. I took Denver -1 versus the Jets, which won. That was basically a pick 'em. I had Arizona -3.5 versus Carolina that lost. Seattle -6.5 versus Miami, which won. And then I had Chicago +3 versus Indy. And Big Dick Nick let me down. So 2-2 for me. Which means, Harry, you kick us off with our week 5 picks because you're still in last.
Also, shout out DK Metcalf for being tied for the league receiving yards.
Yeah, that's sick.
Love it.
Also, do we think, before I even make my picks, do we think Mixon ever does anything close to what he did last week the rest of the season? Because
What was that, a 3-touchdown, 100-plus yard performance?
Well, they play Baltimore this week, so no.
Not, yeah.
It was like a 40-point fantasy
not this
performance.
But, I doubt he gets,
Anyway.
he should be a 15 guy every week.
Yeah. But, and there's a reason they say on any given Sunday, Harry.
It's true. That's why they play the game.
Thank you, Rouse. So, to answer your question, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. But, Harry, give us your Week 5 picks here, you little rascal.
All right. Pick one. Arizona, -7 versus the Jets. Needs no further
If you're gonna lose
explanation.
on this one, you're just going to lose. Like, there's literally nothing you can do about this.
Yeah. Pick number 2. Houston, -6.5 versus Jacksonville. This is Bill O'Brien's fired. The whole team is now fired up. They got to prove that their head coach was not the guy. They're coming in hot this week against Jacksonville. I think they win by at least a touchdown. Pick 3, Indy -2 versus Cleveland. Still not sold on Cleveland. It's still Cleveland. Get off my back. Pick 4, Chicago +4.5 versus Tampa Bay. They're going to keep it close. That's all that matters. Foles coming back, making the game, and restoring his nickname.
Nick versus TB12.
This won't count in your picks, this prediction, because it just needs to be +4.5. But do you think Chicago wins this game outright, Harry?
Yeah, like, if I was a betting man, I'd say yes.
Nice play. All right.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I've been going first pretty much all year. So since me and you are tied, Eli, I'll take the 2 spot here and let you finish us off.
How nice.
What a gentleman.
Gentleman and a scholar. I'm
also taking Arizona -7 versus the Jets because I just think it'd be stupid not to. I'm going to take Cleveland +2 versus Indy. So me and Harry got a head-to-head here. Harry took Indy -2. I'm taking Cleveland +2 here. I'm going to take Seattle -7.
Boo.
I'm going to take Seattle -7 versus Minnesota. I mean, Minnesota finally won a game, but this Seattle team, I've just been so impressed with them all season. And then I'm taking my Falcons. I'm living and dying by the birds. I'm taking the Falcons -2.5 versus Carolina. Because, like we were talking about earlier, I'm kind of hedging my bets here. Either the Falcons win, or I think Dan Quinn gets fired. And I mean, I don't wish anyone to become jobless, but guys got to go. So I'll take a Falcons win over their rival, but I'll also take a Dan Quinn firing.
All right.
So, yeah.
It's kind of a win-win.
Eli, what do you got going on this week?
I'm going to take Seattle -7 against Minnesota. This is totally a trap game, but I'm going to do it anyways because they're always just such good games. Also, another trap game, Dallas -10 versus the G-Men, the New York Football Giants.
I don't want this to suck for you, but it might suck for you.
Yeah, like I could drop significantly in the standings. And I'm going to take the Rams -7.5 against Washington. Don't love that 7.5 number, but god damn it, I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
And another number also don't love is Chiefs -13 against the Raiders. I mean, I think the Chiefs are clicking pretty good. They got kind of held in check against the Patriots. And I mean, in all honesty, like there's not a person, I mean, actually there are probably, but there's not a person on defense that can run with anyone in that Kansas City receiving core. So I think there's going to be a lot of yards thrown, and it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. So don't love the numbers, but doing it anyways. So just to recap, we'll go Seattle -7 versus Minnesota, Dallas -10 versus the Giants, the Rams -7.5 versus Washington, and KC -13 versus the Raiders.
Those are some crooked numbers, Eli. But
they're super janked. So
I mean, at least
totally
one's got to hit,
strategy.
you know?
Yeah, totally.
All right, that's our picks.
Cool.
A little bit of fantasy update before we go.
Yep.
Well, guys, we picked up our first win of the season last week. Absolutely crushed Tron. So my prediction on last week's podcast came to fruition. We're in third last, I believe, or second last in the league, but we have out of 16 teams, we have the 6th most points for. So kind of just tough go so far this year.
Trending up.
So last week we said that the top 10 teams in the league were all tied for first. Now teams 4 to 14 are all 2-2. So it's been a tight race so far in the fantasy league this year. We play Spels this week. He's 3-1. Has about 4 guys on a bye though, so we're catching him at the right time. So we'll have to see how we do.
Yeah.
In terms of survivor pool, we only lost 3 people, one of them being Harry Burton because he forgot to set his pick.
Just gonna out me like that.
I believe that
okay?
I told him at the start of the year to just do all 16 and change them as the weeks went on. But
you did. I'm stubborn, Raul. I'm stubborn. That's just one thing about me. I was at the cabin all week, didn't look at my phone, missed the podcast last week. My mind just slipped. It happens. But I'm pretty chill.
Join me.
So you're welcome.
Join me.
You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah,
you're welcome, everybody else.
Not only is the Squib one that I did done, but all 3 of our individual ones are also done now. So that's good. We're down to 28 of 85 teams.
Blew it.
Yeah.
I had the Cowboys last week. That's what lost it for me. So that's good.
That's awesome.
Dicks.
Very serendipitous.
I'm pretty sure the Cowboys lost it for me last year too, so never picking them again. But yeah, 28 out of 85 teams left. We've got a few more than last year at this point. I believe we made it to week 8 last year, so we're halfway there, guys. Let's see if we can make it further this year.
Awesome. And then Harry, our own personal bets. Eckler going down for 4 weeks is seriously putting a hindrance on his ability to gain yards. So not looking good for that right now.
yes. I didn't even scroll down. So that looks good.
We just need Baker to put up some yards this week.
Yeah, that's passing yards in the AFC. And Harry, we looked over it last week, and Baker's like 12th in the AFC in pass yards. So that bet's also looking all right for you right now.
I mean, I hate to say I told you so, but
yeah,
I told you so.
There's lots of football left.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But that is a run-heavy offense, that Cleveland Browns team.
I see in the script here, we have just sandwich in brackets as the prize. I just want to clarify that is indeed Italian star.
That's fair. And I guess just before you wrap it up, Eli, I just want to say thanks once again to Emmarae Dale. She was an awesome interview, and I wish her all the luck going into her stint with the Saskatoon Hilltops.
Yeah, and that is echoed not only from Riley, but all of us at Squib Kick Radio. And with that, that's all we got for you guys this week. So as always, thanks for listening. And we will, I guess, talk to you next week.
Peace.
Good night.
I got you stuck off the realness. Think not this shit's too hot. Too hot. Too hot. Rock you in your face. Dab your brain with your nose bone. I'm a vampire walking on the surface of the sun.